All right, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are live and super excited to be chatting with one and only Cindi Howson today. We'll be obviously chatting about many things around analytics, data. Obviously, Magic Quadrant 2024 was out, so we're going to talk about that as well. Today, LinkedIn Live is down, so just for those who are tuning in, you can ask your questions on YouTube, and we'll take those questions for Cindi. But just for our audience, I would love to let you guys know. You might have already seen my post as the Magic Quadrant tour is out. I saw ThoughtSpot named as a leader, which is fantastic because I've been closely following their journey and love it. But I couldn't keep myself away from getting Cindi Howson, who's the ThoughtSpot's Chief Data Strategy Officer on the Ravit Show, and obviously also the former Gartner analyst. So wanted to get her up on the Ravit Show and discuss more about analytics, Gartner Magic Quadrant, and much more. So without any further ado, let's have Cindi up here. Cindi, welcome to the Ravit Show.
Good morning,
Finally.
Ravit. And I have to say, I love the way you photoshopped that picture of you and me at the Snowflake Summit for your banner. That was really fun.
Thanks, Cindi. And it was definitely fun catching up with you at Snowflake. And exactly, it's always fun to catch up with you and learn more about analytics, about data, what's happening in this space, because you are obviously a visionary in this space in terms of your experience kind of helps us all understand a lot what's happening in the space. And definitely, as Magic Quadrant was out there, first of all, let me pull this up and congratulate you and the ThoughtSpot team, as you all were named as a leader in the Magic Quadrant 2024 in the analytics and BI space. So congrats.
Thank you. It really has been a long time coming, and it means a lot.
Yeah.
As I said to the company, it's everyone working together. And I sent a lot of personal emails this week, but also as traveling. It's a huge gratitude and validation to our customers who really invested and believed in us early without this market validation. So I just want to acknowledge that and say thank you to our customers, partners, and to influencers, ambassadors like you that have been help evangelizing new ways of working.
So to be honest, obviously we've seen the hard work that you have put into the game, the whole team, like the ThoughtSpot team as well. And you might see my swag as well. Today I have a ThoughtSpot t-shirt. I'm in Hong Kong, but I did carry one of the t-shirts. And to be honest, I never knew this show is just planned like in a week's time. And it's been more than a week since I'm here. But lucky me that at the right time I could wear a ThoughtSpot t-shirt, and I'm here talking to you. But I'm also excited for our audience because we're gonna get into obviously the Magic Quadrant. About we're gonna talk a lot about analytics and business intelligence. And for those who want to also download the report, they can do it here. Y'all can scan it. Y'all can download the report and get more into the weeds of the report. And I'm gonna just put this up later towards the end as well, and also share a link with you guys so you all can download the report for free. But Cindi, just for our audience, I'm pretty sure you are a very familiar face to the data and analytics community. Would you like to introduce yourself, tell us more about what's happening at ThoughtSpot, and what's happening in the world of data and analytics?
Yeah, so Cindi Howson, Chief Data Strategy Officer at ThoughtSpot, now for 5 years, but a 30-year industry veteran. Started really just as a report writer for Dow Chemical, and prior to ThoughtSpot was a research vice president at Gartner, leading some of the reports such as the Magic Quadrant, also the IT score maturity model, and before that, BI scorecard. And I always have a view, hands-on testing is the way to understand how products work. You would never buy a car without test driving it. And the same should be true of your analytics and BI platform. And the cloud makes that so much easier. now anyway. I also host the Data Chief podcast. So one of the differences with ThoughtSpot is we know that you are driving change in your organization and breaking old ways of working. So we say dashboards are dead. That impacts people, their jobs, their ways of working. And so we try to bring best practices through things like the Data Chief podcast and other playbooks as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing those details. And obviously, we've been following the journey and it's been fantastic. Just for our audience, because we are on this topic of Magic Quadrant, ThoughtSpot was named as a leader in Gartner's 2024 Magic Quadrant for Analytics and Business Intelligence. Why now? What do you think?
Why now? It's generative AI, Ravit. And we were the first to, so I also think it's very important. Everyone likes to assign their own mental model to these definitions of ability to execute and completeness of vision. I do encourage people to read the Magic Quadrant. It's a long note rather than just looking at the image. In fact, one year when I was there, I said, can we just publish it the first week without the graphics so that people will actually read the strengths and weaknesses? As you can imagine, that decision was not approved. But there's a lot of data points that go into those positions. And so getting into the leaders quadrant, the y-axis, you have to look at product capabilities that are shipped today. And a really good companion note is the critical capabilities. That has not yet published on Gartner, but that will tell you the detailed functionality. And one of the sets of capabilities that Gartner added to their scoring matrix in the last year is generative AI. And ThoughtSpot was the first to ship our generative AI capabilities, May 2023, ThoughtSpot Sage. Why could we do that? Because we had already patented and proven natural language search at scale for 10 years. So generative AI was just, an easier enhancement for us, whereas others are still in preview, or maybe they've added some small feature, but it's not throughout the platform. The other thing is market momentum. So our growth rates, the customer interest rates, adoption, the scores on peer sites, all of those things feed into why we're a leader now.
Yeah, no, I think 100% that all makes a lot of sense in Gen AI, definitely. Because I think it goes long back. I saw your post about Gen AI, and that was almost 2.5 years, 3 years back. And you all were talking the language where maybe most of the BI vendors are now talking. So it definitely makes a lot of sense about what you're talking. Also, that kind of brings me, I know there are a few questions that are coming up, and I'm going to take those questions for our audience just to let them know. So quick question and a follow-up on this one. Why is this significant for ThoughtSpot and the market? I kind of have this curious question, not only just for me, but I'm pretty sure the audience would also love to know about it.
Yeah, it's significant because, well, of all the industry analysts, Gartner is the most influential. In fact, the Magic Quadrant is the most widely read report within all of Gartner, or it was when I was still there. It might be the number one or number two now, with the top trends might be another one. So it influences a lot of buying decisions. Yeah, and for our customers that really believed early, they stuck their necks out and placed a bet. We think it was a safe bet, but given that they didn't have any validation from a third party, they stuck their necks out for us. And so this actually kind of gives them some validation as well. Maybe if the CIO was skeptical, the CIO now sees that we're a leader in the Magic Quadrant. The other thing that is important, if you look at the other leaders, they are all largely mega vendors that are competing in different market segments. So they will, tack on BI in some respects to really drive consumption in a database platform, whereas we are also the only one solely focused on unlocking the value of that data through analytics and AI.
Yeah, no, I think those are fantastic insights. Thanks for sharing that, Cindy. Quickly, also wanting to take a question here from our audience. So Money is asking from YouTube, because we don't have LinkedIn Live. So guys, y'all can ask questions on YouTube as well. What strategic changes or initiatives has ThoughtSpot implemented in the last year that may have influenced your transition to the leaders quadrant? I know you mentioned a few points and few reasons. Gen AI definitely being the top reason, and y'all started talking about it a long back in the implementations. Any other things that you would like to share? Anything that strategic moves that y'all had made? Cindy?
Yeah, and I want to say it's not just the last year, it's, let's
Yeah,
say, the last 3 years. And
three
that is
years.
that we doubled down on cloud, software as a service, and that deep integration with the cloud platforms. So not having to replicate your data in an in-memory database and integrating with the modern data stack players. The other thing is launching our fastest growing product is ThoughtSpot Everywhere, ThoughtSpot Embedded Analytics Solution. So as people create data products, they're able to embed it in their portals or create something for, say, a customer supplier solution. And that is one of our fastest growing products. We shipped, so not just DemoWare, we shipped our Gen AI capabilities. And then we also acquired Mode, a key player in the
Right.
modern data stack that focused more on the data science and data analysts. So one that grew our revenues, but it also helped us span the set of capabilities that customers were looking for in a complete solution.
Yeah, no, I think definitely it makes all sense, because I think just in a year, that transition could have happened. Obviously, there are various factors that kind of played a very important role for you all to be now named as the leaders in the Magic Quadrant. And being a Gartner ambassador myself, obviously, I go out in the peers community and obviously share a lot of other insights and learn from the community. It's such a huge community, and being recognized there is definitely one of the very huge things. And I talk to a lot of enterprise leaders too, Cindy, so I know in terms of how many of those buyers or decision makers kind of refer to Magic Quadrant. They would always go out and read those reports, because it's one of the most authentic reports that Gartner shares, and there's so much of research that goes into it. And I'm pretty sure you've also been a part of Gartner, right? So there would have been so much that in your Gartner days you might have shared, and you might have done the research around that. Does that still help you in your career in terms of obviously, or of you to understand the data and analytics space?
Yes, of course it does.
Yeah,
And it's what our customers are trying to achieve as well. So
yeah,
I think it's important to have a broad focus of
true,
how these platforms play in the larger ecosystem as well.
true. True. No, fantastic. Also, quick question around, ThoughtSpot's evaluation is based on, the company's Gartner's two axis, like the vision axis and the ability to execute axis, right? So, what has ThoughtSpot done differently in the last year, and even in, say, the last 3 years? What has changed? What has changed internally, but externally for the customers as well?
Yeah, so I actually think Gen AI has educated the world on our value prop.
Cindy, I think I've lost your voice. No worries. I know we were facing some technical issues. Today is like a day of technical issues. But Cindy, if you want to go back out and come back, it's fine, because I know that might fix you. Oh, you're mute for some reason. 1 second. Let's see if. Oh, I can't unmute you. All right. We can wait till Cindy comes back. But for those who we are talking about the Magic Quadrant, and it's Magic Quadrant 2024. Let's see. Cindy is back. That was quick.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Cindy. Awesome.
I did warn Ravi, this Chrome update was making me
I
a little
know.
nervous.
No worries at all.
Yeah.
But
So,
yes,
so
so
let's go
what has
back. I heard
changed?
your question.
Yes,
So I think a couple things that are important. We had already been working on some things, but think we were really the only vendor leading with natural language search and AI infused throughout the
right,
product. So it's not just to ask the question; it's also to give natural language descriptions on the page on a particular chart. It's also to crowdsource the data modeling, the synonyms. Well, so fall 2022, then this is when the rest of the world is like, this is pretty cool. We can use this on text documents. We want the same ease of
right,
use on numeric data, structured documents or structured data. Complex SQL, ChatGPT can't handle that. We can handle that. So I do think generative AI has educated the world about a new way of working. And it gave us a really, really nice tailwind. The other thing is we had been working for years on deep integration with Google BigQuery, for example. And customers can buy ThoughtSpot through
hmm,
the Google Marketplace. They can use their Google Cloud commits. And we had deep integration with Looker models. We also are one of the first to integrate with Gemini. So if you decide, I don't like the political things going on at
hmm,
OpenAI, or Microsoft is betting in all these LLMs, and I'd rather use something like Gemini, then we also can do that. So this architecture of an open framework, it gives us the flywheel as well with our partners. And that's why Google also named us Partner of the Year. So
right.
all of these things are bets and strategies that we were working on. But then I also think it's the core. It's beautiful things like I start my day looking at ThoughtSpot on my mobile phone, the KPI
Oh
charts.
wow,
Yeah, I call it pre-gaming. I look at my
yeah.
numbers. How did the podcast do? How are my customers doing? And so all of that are just some of the biggest innovations, as well as embedded, of course, and mode capabilities as well.
I love it. In terms of, when you can have it like such good access when, it's just on mobile, it's so handy as well. You on the move, you can look at a lot of data. For business people, it becomes a lot easier as well because they're always maybe sometimes traveling and they want to, just keep a track of things very quickly when they're traveling in. If you can have it on phone, what easier than that? But yeah, you're right. A lot of innovations that has happened over years has actually kind of even helped you get that leader spot in the Magic Quadrant, and makes a lot of sense. But just a reminder for our audience, those who've joined us, if you all want to download the report, ThoughtSpot named as the leader in the Magic Quadrant, and y'all can download the report here. Y'all can read about it. And I'm gonna even share a link after our show is done, so y'all can download it later too. All right, getting to the question, Cindy. One quick question here from Devendra Ostwal. Hi, Cindy. Congratulations. Could you please provide insights into ThoughtSpot's latest product innovations and how the company is driving that company's growth is being driven by that?
Yeah, and so that's where, as I mentioned, ThoughtSpot Sage was a huge one, but
Right,
I look at what we shipped last May as a first iteration. We've continued to enhance that, like letting you choose which LLM you want
right,
to use. The other thing that we did is bring in this full learning. So human in the loop is absolutely required.
right.
You never wanted, you cannot trust generative AI
Yeah.
directly against SQL. The one that you're not going to get accurate results. But two, you can't afford to have a hallucination when you're doing financial reporting or things like this. And
Mm,
so the other thing we have is the ability to let people with human in the loop teach the system. So it's learning, and the administrator can actually see how these crowdsourcing of the learning is improving things. So if I think about customers that have tried to use generative AI on their own, they might get a 30 to 40% accuracy. With our ability to give the feedback and coach the system, we get to a 95% accuracy. And that set of capabilities is patent pending. It is something that Gartner actually called us out for as a unique differentiator in the space. So I think that's a really important innovation.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. One quick question here that I wanted to ask was about the customers. So, how have your customers responded to ThoughtSpot's product innovations over the last year, or maybe even in the last 3 years? You all have done so much in this space. Like, obviously, you all have acquired more, but then the Gen AI space, and obviously all the innovations that you mentioned about choose your own LLMs. And I sometimes feel that you all have really your work for the customers so much, because if customers ask for it, and I've heard that from even the reps in the ThoughtSpot team, if customer asks for it, you'll work on it and make sure that you all deliver it, and you all are on constant feedback from the customers as well, and you'll make sure that you all want to provide the best product to them. So how have they responded to the changes that have happened, not only just over the last year, but maybe the last 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I can't name names, but I do want to share an email.
Yeah, sure. Oh, wow.
This morning from a customer. And I will tell you, when we first showed our customers Sage, I got a text from one of our longtime customers, and she said, I may weep with tears of joy in seeing all that is coming to life. This customer last night just said, and this is one of our European customers, I just want to say, all caps, I am blown away by the Ask Sage. I want to explain what Ask Sage is. Ask Sage functionality. Can't wait to unleash this on more of our data and use cases. And as we've been doing these data renaissance tours around the world, one customer described that they haven't even deployed Sage yet. They just said, ThoughtSpot has made my life so much better, because we take away the doldrums of dashboard tweaks to death. But I want to explain what Ask Sage is, because this is a newer capability. So again, we've been shipping Gen AI capabilities for a year. We've been shipping natural language search at scale for a decade. So Ask Sage is just, again, we're going to continuously improve, continuously evolve, get the feedback from our customers. So if you ask a question, and I'll go ahead, I'll use my podcast stats, if I may, the Data2 podcast.
Yes, please.
So I'll be looking and I'll see a chart, a trend line that shows me the listeners for the last month. And I'll see that on a page. And then I may start with a search and say, just show me only the latest episode. And so it will do that drill down for me, present it as a chart, a trend line. And then I can say, well, can we refine that just for, let's say, listeners in Canada and the US? And so I'm using natural language search not only for the first question, but all the next question, next question, next question. And that is what Ask Sage is. And then this is the other thing. This is very hard to communicate in a PowerPoint deck. But it's one of those things why I say you have to test drive the products that you're evaluating. Is when you get that insight, when I finally get, so I'm like, oh, there's a huge difference in listeners between USA and Canada. I now can take that visualization and pin it on my live board. So I have created this personalized live board in seconds. No dead ends, start anywhere. No dead ends.
Wow, love it. So that is something very useful for me, I'm pretty sure, because I have like multiple platforms and I do so much of analytics myself in terms of, where the listeners are coming from, how which episodes have worked pretty well,
Yes.
what type of topics work for my audience, what type of topic people feel that it's, I can actually create a niche bucket, I can create categories, I can actually pull in a lot of different demographics, who's listening where, and what topics are helping them in their countries, like I remember, when I used to, and that is just a little bit, but I would love to get into the depth from the ThoughtSpot, using ThoughtSpot itself, because as you're saying, the live board, so it will also, does it also help me automatically update those stats when things change?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact,
Okay,
that's the AI generated insights will tell
nice.
you what you didn't know to ask. I mean, when I was at Snowflake, I actually did a live demo and did an AI generated insights in some podcast listener platform that I had never heard of. Like I'm doing more iTunes and whatever. It came up as
Yeah,
showing an increase, and I asked people in the room who uses that, and they are like, "Yeah, I use that."
right.
I didn't even know to
Wow.
ask about that platform. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I love it. So I'm definitely gonna try my hands on this. Gonna take some insights from you how to best, create
Yes.
our own live dashboard and make sure that it keeps updating, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very helpful. So I can only imagine how useful it will be for the data and analytics leaders out there who could use this. All the analysts out there, data analysts. This is fantastic. Also, quick question, Cindy. I know there's some exciting announcements that are going to come out from ThoughtSpot, maybe this year, maybe early next year. We're kind of excited. Do you want to spill some beans? Do you want to share something with our audience? What's next? What can we expect ahead in the year or maybe next year? So we can stay tuned and follow ThoughtSpot's journey. And also, if people want to, learn more from you, I know you visit a lot of conferences. You just came back last night from a conference again. So would love to know a little about that as well.
Yeah. So a couple things. Let's so how to keep up with everything that we're doing, and I do also want to reinforce we have a mindset of we're only ever
Hmm.
2% done. And we still see so much to do for this industry. So we co-innovate with our partners. We listen very carefully
Nice.
to our community, our customer advisory board. And I would say follow the ThoughtSpot page on LinkedIn. And as we publish things on the website, we're shipping new releases every month, and sometimes more often than that. If I think about world events, where to meet with the ThoughtSpot team, yes, we've had a 4-city data renaissance tour, San Francisco this week. The next one will be October 3rd in New York. But of course, there's also the Gartner Data and Analytics Summit in, I can't remember if it's Sydney or Melbourne,
Yeah,
Australia,
Sydney maybe.
end of July. Okay, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you'll be there. So stay connected with the team that way. In Europe, Big Data London, we also normally participate in. And then a lot of regional meetups, of course, as well. So that's from some of the events. In terms of some
Nice.
of the capabilities, maybe that have already, so keep in mind too, the Magic Quadrant is a point in time. And that point in
Mm,
time for product capabilities, what was GA was January 31st. Well, that's already 5 months ago. That's like a long time in startup
yeah.
life when we're shipping so fast. So that's also where we will continue to watch which LLMs are gaining traction and
Right.
focus there. Some of the newer capabilities, and one that we previewed at the Data Renaissance Tour, is an analytics workbench. So this is deeply integrating the capabilities that we acquired from Mode inside the core ThoughtSpot platform. So that gives, again, meeting, we like to call it multi-experience or multimodal analytics, meeting the users where they are. If they want to be in more an analytics workbench environment for the data analysts, we want to meet them where they are. If somebody wants to experience capabilities through Slack or through a spreadsheet interface, we'll meet them where they are. I talked about mobile, and then of course, another experience would be embedded, and another experience would be a full browser solution. But integrating those mode capabilities is something that we've been showing. And then it may sound, boring, but people ask for this, having things like bring your own chart capabilities.
Right.
On mobile, continuing to innovate, so bringing voice capabilities to the mobile platform. So now in the morning, when I'm checking what's going on, maybe I could also be asking while I'm driving in my car, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. You shouldn't do data and driving. Let's not do that. That would help Bruno's CarCast. But those are just a few of the things that I'm excited about.
That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing those insights,
Yeah.
Cindi. It's lovely, and we can't wait to definitely see those capabilities coming up very soon. And we'll definitely keep the conversation going, and we'll make sure when these capabilities come. And I'm pretty sure as you mentioned, obviously 5 months is a long time. There have been a lot of innovations, and there will be a lot of innovations that will happen in the next few months as well. So looking forward to that. But before we take off, obviously, I want to make sure we bring this up again. ThoughtSpot named as a leader. Congrats once again, Cindi, and obviously to the whole ThoughtSpot team. I know any last thoughts around it. I know there'll be obviously a next report that would come up maybe next year or in the 6 months again. Just for our audience, any last thoughts that you have around the Magic Quadrant? And for those who want to download the report, until then, y'all can scan this and download it.
Yeah, I guess I also see Sonia asked a question: how has our vision evolved? Well, our vision or vision remains the same, that we want to enable a fact-driven world, and we have some of these product design philosophies: less input, more output. We want to make it easier for both the product builders, the data analysts, and the business people. So, and as I said, we have a mindset of we're only 2% done. So we're very much customer focused and collaborating on designing where the future of data and analytics and AI with trust at scale is going. The other thing I would encourage you, don't, the Magic Quadrant gives you a shortcut. But I would also read a few of the peer insight reviews, something that informs the Gartner opinion, and then try it for yourself. We have a very easy trial. Just do it on the demo data if you want. If you're really just interacting and you don't want to build something, then we have a lighter lift evaluation capability on the website as well. So try these things and you'll see the difference. And otherwise, I know our team is happy to chat with you. Our customers are even happier to share now that they've gotten that validation too.
Yes, this is awesome, Cindi. Love it. Love all the insights, and thanks for doing this early in the morning, because obviously you had a late night flight and you were back. But then it was such a pleasure chatting with you on the Ravit Show. All the great insights around analytics, business intelligence, and obviously the Magic Quadrant as well. Congrats to you and your team. Definitely looking forward to the next updates that are coming at ThoughtSpot, but also looking forward to meeting you very soon. So thanks once again.
We'll see you somewhere. Thank you so much for having me, Ravit.
Yes, for sure. And thanks for our audience for joining us. Obviously, we'll also be live streaming this on LinkedIn very soon when the issues with StreamYard and LinkedIn is resolved. But until then, see you next time, and take care of yourself. All right.